The Bug Bux Podcast!
We grew and sold Killingsworth in 2018. We grew it to position 36 on the PCT Top 100. We did not do that on accident. My dad had a high school education. We grew aggressively from 8 to 28 million in 6 years without a door-to-door strategy. If you want to grow 30%, 40%, 50% next year, you better have a plan for how you're going to do that. And if you build that plan in a month-to-month cadence, at the end of every month, you can meet with your team, you can meet with your digital marketing company and say, okay, this is where we succeeded. This is where we need to tweak for next month so that we can get a little bit closer to our goal. The PCOs that had a great year were planning for 2025 and 2024.
My guest today, the ultimate guru when it comes to marketing in the pest control space. We got Matt Rogers with us today. If you don't have a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan, let's start with 5-year plan and let's work backward. Where do you want your pest control company to be in 5 years? And make yourself answer those questions. 5 years, 3 years, 2026. That's what I want you to do. So within the next 2 weeks of you hearing me say this, and I want you to tell me about it in the Bug Bux group, I need a 5-year plan, a 3-year plan, and a 2026 plan. And the way that we get to the 2026 plan is we start with the 5-year plan and we break it down, right? So Matt, I want to hear some tips specifically about marketing. Give me 3 or 4 or 5 things to help plan for marketing in 2026. If people are just getting starting with their plans, if they don't have goals for 2026, is it too late for them? What do you recommend?
Here's the thing.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Bug Bux Podcast. I'm your host, Allan Draper. Thank you for spending this time with me. It's kind of the holiday season, so it's just a couple of days before Thanksgiving that we're recording this. So I don't know when it's going to launch, but probably before the new year. So I know you're busy. Appreciate you spending time with me. I take that as a challenge and something that I take very seriously to make sure that we get you some sort of information that helps you build your pest control company. So before we get to our guest today, make sure that you're checking out Bug Bux Plus. Go to bugbuxplus.com. Check it out. We're doing some cool things on there. And also, if you're not a member of our Bug Bux Plus Facebook group, make sure to go there. Just type in BUGBUX and you'll be able to find the group. So my guest today, best friend in the world, the ultimate guru when it comes to marketing in the pest control space. You all know him. You all love him. We got Matt Rogers with us today. Thanks for joining us, Matt.
Bro, I love coming here and hanging out with you. And I got to plug Bug Bux, actually, honestly. I don't know how many times I've been here now to be on the podcast. I'm not affiliated in this particular way. I don't get a little kickback when I say stuff like this. But honestly, if you're in the group, if you're in the community, count yourself as lucky, especially if you're trying to build your business from scratch right now. These kind of resources didn't exist when we were growing and selling our business. And to have this kind of access to people who have tried and failed and succeeded is huge. So if you're listening to this and you don't take advantage of it, you 100% should, and you're missing out. Jump in the game for sure.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Bug Bux is making moves for sure. We're trying to, at least. So, well, let's talk about the marketing world, man. What's on your mind? We don't really have a script for today, so I just wanted to spitball this episode. I know a lot of people are thinking about 2026, and so I want to hear about that. What do you have going on?
I'll start with this. I've got some stuff. You're just going to tell me. We are spitballing, everybody. This is unscripted. I want to start with this quote and kind of give you my pieces of the puzzle for this podcast today, and then you just kind of tell me where you want to take it. So, we grew and sold Killingsworth in 2018, right? At the time, we grew it to a position 36 on the PCT Top 100, right? My dad had a high school education, okay? That was a huge deal for us, and we did not do that on accident, okay? That wasn't like a fluke.
No, you can't.
You cannot do that, right? We grew aggressively from 8 to 28 million in 6 years without a door-to-door strategy with a plan, okay? And I found this quote. I was looking through a lot of quotes when I thought about our podcast today, but Tom Brady said this. He said, "Football is won in the off season. Games just reveal what you did when nobody saw you, okay? Football is won in the offseason. Games just reveal what you did when nobody saw you, okay? We've had, for the most part, we've had an incredible ride in 2025. It's been an incredible year for digital marketing. We've talked about it ad nauseum. Artificial intelligence has turned everything right on its head. The PCOs that had a great year were planning for 2025 and 2024, okay? That's what I wanted to talk with you about today.
Yeah.
The PCOs that we worked with this year that did not, and I've got some horror stories, and you tell me what you want, no names included.
Well, I want to hear it.
All right, well, the PCOs that struggled this year did not have a plan and shot from the hip, maybe a little bit like what we're doing here in this podcast, right? Did not have a plan. They did not use their off season to prepare for their on season. And that's exactly what PCOs should be doing now. In fact, they should be at more than halfway done. We're almost at Thanksgiving. By the time this podcast comes out, it's probably going to be in December. They should have been starting to think about projections for their company's finish for 2025 at the beginning of October, according to the pace that they set for the year. And they should be thinking about then, therefore, what they want to do in 2026. That was the activity that we did every single year at Killingsworth. That is the activity that they do every single year in Anti-Cimex, one of the big four. And unfortunately, for a lot of the PCOs that are listening to you, that's not something that they're paying attention to right now, but they need to.
So let's talk about that. So by the time this airs, we're going to be pretty much done with 2025. So if people are just getting starting with their plans, if they don't have goals for 2026, is it too late for them? What do you recommend?
Here's the thing. I was just talking to Jonas about this, right? The thing is, the plan is not this foolproof, exact strategy to get you to your goal at the end of the year. The plan is something that you're probably, most likely, very likely going to fail at, right? But it's a way in your month over month that you can benchmark where you are in juxtaposition to that plan. If you want to grow 30%, 40%, 50% next year, you better have a plan for how you're going to do that. And if you build that plan, particularly from a month-to-month cadence, at the end of every month, you can meet with your team, you can meet with your digital marketing company and say, okay, this is where we succeeded according to our plan. This is where we need to tweak for next month so that we can get a little bit closer to our goal. Because when you do this activity, you are creating wealth for yourself as the business owner. When you don't do this activity, you are hoping that you can arrive at a number that you haven't concluded in your own mind, much less to your team, worked out with your whole team. And a hope is just it's not the thing that's going to get you there. It takes hope to get there for sure, but that's not all you need to get to your goals.
Not enough. Yep, not enough. I have one more question, and then I'm going to go off on a little tangent. Yeah. Okay.
Love it. Let's do it.
So things change so fast with digital marketing. It's like where we are right now is like a world away from where we were this time last year. So with that in mind, with how fast digital marketing is changing, what specifics can a pest controller even come up with in terms of planning for 2026?
This is going to sound like you set me up for this question, but it's perfect. And this is what my high school education dad was an expert at, okay? What I was given in every month was a budget that was planned for in October of the previous year, okay? My counterpart, my Matt Rogers, was Mike Pinkney. Love Mike Pinkney. Bro, I should get royalties for how many times I shout you out. He was my only digital marketing partner from the time we were 8 million to 28 million, okay? The only one, right? We made this plan, this budget. It was given to me at the end of every year. Your PCOs can create their budget, okay? It's the responsibility of your digital marketing company to decide, how can I use this budget to help them get to their goal, okay? That's what they can do. Digital marketing has changed. You are absolutely right. It is, we shouldn't go into it this episode. Just go listen to our last episode. It's wild. It's different. And artificial intelligence is where your head needs to be. But you don't need to know what to do in light of these changes. That's your digital marketing company's job. You do need to know what their budget is to reach your goals, and that's something that you can determine right now.
Perfect. I honestly feel like that set me up for my tangent. So
hit your tangent.
All right. So I've talked about this before on the podcast. I'm a big goal setter. I'm usually looking forward into the things I want to accomplish in my life. I break my goals down into 7 different areas, and I have this whole rubric, and we're not going to go into that, but we are going to go into this. So I was just driving back from the gym about an hour or so ago, and I was listening to some Christmas music, okay? I was by myself, and it's November 25th, so it's not Thanksgiving yet. It's in 2 days, and you can judge me. There's going to be people judging me for listening to Christmas music before Thanksgiving, but hey, I was feeling a little festive. I was listening to Christmas music, and off in the distance, there's still some farmland around my house. Off in the distance, I see this, what looks like a really tall, like metal Christmas tree. And I'm like, I've never seen that before. Like, what is that? And then I kind of got closer to it, and I realized it was just like a power pole, right?
Nice.
But why did I think that was a Christmas tree? Well, I thought it was a Christmas tree because I was listening to Christmas music.
Yes.
And that Christmas
it's informed
music,
what you perceive.
Exactly. And that's why we plan. And that's why we set goals, is because it changes what we see. When we say, hey, I want to do 1 million in inside sales this year, guess where our focus is going to be? It's going to be focused on hitting that $1 million in inside sales. So
exactly.
I don't understand exactly how it works, but, for me, I think it's really important that, we get these plans, and it's not too late, right? It's not too late. Mm-hmm. Even if this were airing in February or March, you're still in kind of the slower season. So it's not too late. Let's start with, if you don't have a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan, let's start with a 5-year plan, and let's work backward.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's start with a 5-year. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want your pest control company to be in 5 years? And make yourself answer those questions. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't know for sure. None of us do. There could be, heaven forbid, another COVID, or, I shouldn't have said that, man. I just jinxed it.
You shouldn't have.
I just jinxed it. But we don't know. And so people always say, I don't know. I'm just going to try my best. Okay, whatever works for you. But 5 years, 3 years, 2026. That's what I want you to do.
Yes.
So within the next 2 weeks of you hearing me say this, and I want you to tell me about it in the Bug Bux group, I need a 5-year plan, a 3-year plan, and a 2026 plan. And the way that we get to the 2026 plan is we start with the 5-year plan and we break it down,
exactly
right? So
exactly
Matt, I want to hear some tips specifically about marketing. Give me 3 or 4 or 5 things that just, we're just spitballing here off the top of your head to help these folks plan for marketing in 2026.
Yes, but before I give you those, I love what you just said. And I think it's not like this abstract concept. Why is the fact that you are listening to Christmas music informing what it is that you see? You and I can talk about this like on a, and I won't go too far down the road, but you and I can talk about this on a fundamental spiritual level, right? Belief is a requisite for how you're supposed to navigate the world, right? And part of that belief is what you see up here, this plan that you formed up here. That whole thing with Jesus and Peter on the water. Peter had to decide, if I step out of this boat, am I going under, or am I going to be able to walk? And he didn't have a plan, and he started to sink. Right?
I
the
love
things that
analogy.
We visualize.
Yeah, I love that analogy, because before you said hope is not enough. It's required, but it's not enough. We're talking about Peter. He didn't just like
hope is part one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. He actually went and did it. And
it's gonna work.
And he failed first. Right.
Yes.
He failed. He started
That's
to
exactly
sink.
right.
And so I think that's a great analogy. So we've got the hope. Hey, we got our pest control company in 5 years.
Yep.
I want to do, $5 million in revenue, whatever it is.
Yep.
That's the hope, right? That's the goal.
Yes.
Now, what are we going to do about it?
So step one is goal setting now, okay? And this is the path, right? You can do this even if you don't have the fourth quarter. In fact, you should have a better idea of how you did in 2025 over 2024 by the time you listen to this podcast, right? So let's say that you grew to, we'll keep the numbers around, right? Let's say that you grew to $10 million this year. That's a nice, amazing number. You want to grow 50%. You want to put on $5 million next year, okay? What you do is the first thing you do in your plan is you create a budget according to your 2025 COGS inside of your business to determine how much money you're going to have to spend next year first, okay? So the first thing, salaries and wages. What was your percentage of your total gross revenue of that $10 million number? How much of that was salaries and wages? How much of that was your gas cost? How much of that was your chemical cost? How much of that was benefits? And then how much of that was your digital marketing activities, right? The second thing that you do after you're done with that activity, you find these percentages, is you've got, okay, I want to get to 15 million next year, okay? And now I've got these percentages. How much of that $15 million belongs to each of these things? Salaries and wages, chemical costs, gas, blah, blah, blah. Now you can start to make a plan. Now I know what my threshold is for, I'll take it out of the context of digital marketing so people don't think that I'm here to get you to come work with me, right? Let's think about your gas costs, right? I know that this year I spent roughly, I don't know, let's just use 7%. It's more than that probably on gas for my total revenue, right? Where are some efficiencies? How can I make efficiencies? How can I keep some of that as the business owner? Well, one of the goals that I can have for 2026 is I can work on my routing, right? I can work on my routing to get my routes tighter. And if my routes are tighter, I'm spending less on gas and I get to keep that money, right? Same thing for digital marketing. Right, you've got this percentage of that $15 million that's going to belong to your digital marketing. Hopefully, that's somewhere 3% if you're trying to maintain, somewhere between 6 to 8 if you're trying to grow. Right, it can be more than that if you're aggressive. Right, people spend more than that on door-to-door companies all the time. But let's say your digital marketing is, we'll just keep it nice and simple, 6%, right? 6% of that $15 million is going to be my budget. How much of that do I spend in January, February, March, April, May, right? Let me give this budget to my digital marketing company. It's their responsibility to determine how do they use this budget with all these changes in digital marketing to help me hit my goals, right? How many leads did we see totally in 2025? How many leads are we going to need to see in 2026 to hit this $15 million goal, right? Therefore, how many leads is my digital marketing company responsible for, right? So step number 1 is make an evaluation of what you did this year. Step number 2 is project where you want to be. And then step number 3 is make your budget. Your budget is just a threshold. It's not a perfect number that you land on every single month, okay? It's a benchmark that you compare yourself to let you know, is my digital marketing company doing a good job every single month? Is my sales team doing a good job every single month? Are my ops doing a great job every single month? Are my collections, are my ladies that are collecting money at the back of the house, are they doing their job? Are we getting 85% or better of our accounts receivable coming in every single month? And if I've got these ways that I can measure my company, I am on track to reach my goal. It doesn't mean I'm going to land right at 15 million. It means I'm doing everything I know how to do every single month to get me to that goal. And I promise you, you will be a lot closer than $10 million at the end of 2026 if you do that activity.
We're going to take a moment to highlight one of the premier sponsors of the Bug Bux Plus platform. You guys have heard me share all kinds of pro tips for building and scaling your companies with an inside sales team. I've got news that blows it all out of the water. Bug Bux has partnered with Volt Inside Sales, which provides you with a third-party, on-demand, commission-only, high-performing inside sales team. You don't have to build, manage, or worry about staffing. Volt does it all. No more missed calls, reluctant lead follow-up, and no more poor performance. Volt sales reps are retired door-to-door veterans hungry for leads and ready to close more deals for you. Build, scale, and grow with Bug Bux and Volt. To learn more about how Volt can take your company to the next level, DM Inside Sales to the Bug Bux Facebook page. And remember to ask about special discounts for Bug Bux Facebook members and Bug Bux Plus subscribers. Now back to the Bug Bux podcast.
Yeah, I talk a lot about my favorite financial statements, and it's probably toward the top. It's a top 2 financial statement for me, and that is, what is my line item percentage of gross revenue?
Yeah,
I love that. And you mentioned it, and I wanted to walk through those steps of figuring that out. Okay,
love it.
So
do it.
You should have financial statement. You should have a P&L, right? And P&L, what does it do? It shows you top line, your gross revenue, and then a breakdown of your cost, with the bottom line being the net revenue, right? You have your different line items. And if you have set up your chart of accounts properly, you have things like Matt mentioned, you have gas, you have your labor costs, you have your marketing costs, things like that, right? Whatever it takes to run your pest control company. Above your cost of goods sold line, you have your variable expenses. Okay. I run mine more like a contribution margin. Some accountants have told me, but then you have your fixed costs below that. So the way to budget, this is a great way to start it. Just like Matt said, I'm repeating what Matt said. I'm just simplifying it. And I'm making sure you understand the process. You take your P&L, you take that line item. I'm going to use really easy numbers. You spent $1 in gas, and your total gross revenue was $10 for the year. That's a 10%. Right. You spent 10% of your top line revenue on gas. So then what you do is, okay, so I spent 10% and I made $10 this year. Now I'm going to make $100, right? 10x is crazy, but so now what is my budget? The best math that we learned wasn't geometry, trigonometry. It's freaking algebra, right? So now we're projecting like whatever we impute our goal for 2026. So we're saying, okay, we did $10 in 2025. We're going to do $100 in 2026. So how much am I going to spend on gas? A great place to start is, what was your 2025 percentage of gross revenue for gas? It was 10%. What's 10% of $100? It's $10.
$10. Yeah.
And then you can do that with
activity.
The nice thing is
Everything.
When you start to get efficient and you start to scale, Matt talked about getting that route density, decreasing the cost that you're spending on fuel, windshield time, which affects what's the cost of your labor, stuff like that. So you have natural efficiencies baked in there. The cool thing is you're going to start to see decreases in those types of things. Like your chemicals should be decreasing if you're spraying more homes. There's this economy of scale. But then those big items like marketing, you keep that the same, or maybe you increase it a little bit. Maybe you did 30% and you're like, hey, I have a couple of percentage wiggle room to work with. I'm going to add that to my marketing, or I'm going to.
Exactly.
I love adding things to marketing, to tech wages. Those are kind of the big ones for me, but improving your company and your culture while you're growing. But that's the way to create a budget. At least it's a great way to start it if you don't have any place else to start. That way you can get not just for fuel, not just for marketing, every single line item. Now hey, this is the template for 2026, and we're going to adjust, and it's not going to be exactly that. It's not.
Yes.
But it gives us a roadmap.
Yep. So this is why this is so perfect, right? This is perfect segue. People are going to think we plan this shit. Okay. You should plan for your business. We're not planning this conversation. But something that they did really well at Anticimex is, so you've got this budget. That's step one. You've got this budget for 2026, which you need to have in place in 2025, right? Then you start to create goals inside of that budget, right? How much sales do you need your inside sales to do? How many leads do you need your digital marketing company to create, right? And then one of the things that Anticimex did that we weren't great at Killingsworth was create efficiency goals, right? Let's say at the end of next year, Allan Draper wants to have an efficiency goal of 11%, which was Antisemex's efficiency goal the last year I was there, right? How does that play out from a digital marketing perspective? How can my digital marketing company stretch out my ad dollars, right? How does that play out from a sales perspective? How can my sales team increase their sales closing ratio, right? How does that play out for an ops perspective? How many appointments can we get into a day? How can I create efficiency in routing so I can maximize their time, right? How does that play out for a chemical perspective? That has implications for gas, right? Mm-hmm. How does that play out from a chemical perspective? Let me shake down Viserys. Let me shake down Forshaw and see if I can get a better deal on whatever, right? When you have an efficiency goal on top of your other goals that you're going to try to get, what happens is you, the business owner, get to keep that. And that's exactly how it should be. That is exactly how it should be. So that was my second thing I'm bringing to the party today is creating efficiency goals. Create your reach goals. goals. Where are you trying to take the company? But create goals for how you're going to try to be efficient about doing that. And where is that going to play out inside of your company, right?
I think
One of
that's
the things
super
that Jonah
cool
said to me-
because like if you sorry, don't lose that train of thought
No, go.
about what
I'll
Jonah
hold it,
said
I'll
to
hold it.
you, but
Yeah.
you can take exactly like Matt just said, you take those goals, you take them to your individual vendors, like you take them to Viserys and you take them to Syngenta or whoever, right? And you're like JTE, whatever. And you're like, hey, what do I need to do to decrease some of these costs? And what you're doing is you're not trying to necessarily pay them less, right? Don't confuse those two things. You're trying to become more efficient. So they
Stretch
might
it
say,
out. Yep.
Viserys might say, hey, if you order 50% or more of your annual product by March, then we'll do this or that, or you'll get these rebates or whatever.
Yes.
So take that efficiency score and those efficiency goals and pass them on to people that probably know a little bit more about you on that specific line item.
Yes. Bro, we had to do the same thing with Mike Pinckney. Another shout out Mike Pinckney, right? I would give him my budget and tell him my lead goal, and then I go to him, not being the subject matter authority, which I have imposter syndrome about now, right? But I go to Mike Pinckney, I'm like, Mike, how do we hit these goals with this budget? And Mike comes back to me with a plan because he knows more. Same thing for chemical, right? Same thing for your sales leader, right? You need to give your goal to your sales leader and let him work it out down into the sales team, right?
It's so important that we
things,
continue to align interests. Not just with our employees, but with our vendors, our partners too, where it's like they know what our goals are. And I'm going to be honest with you. It's not going to be every single vendor every year that's like, oh yeah, we can do that. There's going to be some years where it's like, hey, I don't think we can do that with our marketing company. Hey, I don't know that we can get you 1 million leads for $10. I don't know that we can do that. But I'll help you come up with something that's more realistic. And maybe you got to go find that efficiency somewhere else, maybe
someplace else
this year, right?
Absolutely. One of the things that I thought was fascinating, Jonah said that he does this with they have retention goals, right? Which affects his net revenue, right? When you have more clients staying on board with you, you've got more revenue coming into the house, right? One of the ways that he reaches this goal is he makes sure, whether it's visible or invisible, every time a technician encounters a customer, they have to perform one act of kindness, right? What an incredible goal to set, right? What an incredible culture that's set after the budget, right? After your plan is made, as you're setting your goals for next year. How am I going to hit these retention numbers? One of the ways that I can do that is making sure that no technician leaves a customer without doing something nice for that customer, right? What an incredible way to try to hit that goal. It has nothing to do with digital marketing, right? But this kind of, we'll go full circle. The most successful partners that Lizard had this year are with partners that set goals, right? Had a plan and set goals. The most unsuccessful partners that we had this year did not do that, right? Had no plan, was just shooting from the hip, throwing money to the wind, right? Had no way to measure themselves, had no way to, it was hard, right? And so when you set these goals, it plays out with everybody that you're participating with, from your digital marketing company to your inside sales teams, to your operational teams who are performing acts of kindness to your customers, to your people collecting money at the back of the house. When you've got a goal and a way to incentivize, at Killingsworth, we used to, 85% was the accounts receivable goal, and my dad would give all these girls $500 additional dollars at the end of the month. I think it was a team of 6 at the time, Deanna and all of her ladies. Give them an additional $500 on their paycheck if they could get that close to 87% at every month, right? If they could push that line 2% more, collect 2% more every single month, he'd throw $500. If they could collect 5%, they could get it to 90% at the end of the month, he would give them $1,000, right? He's making more than that, way more than that if they get to that particular goal. So he will cut them an additional check for $1,000 at the end of the month if they can collect 90%. And what do you think happened? Every single month, those girls were vicious about hitting. I mean, especially when it gets close to the holiday season, let me tell you, we didn't need to call the collections agency, okay? Deanna and her team were like bloodthirsty, right? Going after customers to make sure that they were getting paid. And so those goals matter. And it really matters how, when you set that plan, when you get that budget in line and you make those goals and you talk about those goals to everybody that you're working with, you will see that you will get closer to your goal as the business owner at the end of the year versus just relying on a hope and throwing some cash into the wind and hoping for the best results, right?
We're going to take a quick moment to highlight one of the premier sponsors of the Bug Bux Plus platform. Treat where they hide, treat where they eat. Cockroaches and small flies are among the most challenging pests to eliminate because they often hide in hard to reach areas like drains or beneath and behind equipment. Nibor D plus IGR from Nisus is a powerful solution combining a ready-to-use insecticide foam with an insect growth regulator. This versatile product can be sprayed on non-food surfaces or applied deep into drains and other hard to reach areas using the included 17-inch flexible semi-rigid straw. The foam penetrates where cockroaches and small flies live, eat, and breed, targeting these pests at the source. Make sure to stock Nibor D plus IGR from Nisus in your truck so you can tackle small fly and cockroach problems in your commercial and residential accounts. To learn more about how Nisus and their product lineup can take your company to the next level, DM the phrase Nisus, N-I-S-U-S, to the Bug Bux Facebook page. Now, back to the show.
Yeah, one thing that, and obviously I'm biased about Lizard and everything we're doing there, but one of the coolest things, perhaps the coolest, is we have buy-in with your company. And not all vendors do this. Some do in our industry. They do a good job of this where you can share your goals with them and they will hold you accountable. I know Lizard does. It's like, hey, these were your goals. We were just talking about this, you and I, about proof just the other day. And to be honest with you, there's some discrepancy, right? And we're going through the process and figuring it out. But Matt came to me and Matt was like, hey, this is what we decided at the beginning of the year. This is what we did. And this is the report that the numbers are showing. Man, you need people like that in your life. And it's not always comfortable. I'm telling you, it's not always comfortable when you have a buddy that's like, hey, you told me you were going to go to the gym with me 4 times a week. You've canceled on me like 3 times out of the last 4. Like, what do you want me to do here? That's what Lizard is the best at. Like, hey, what do you want me to do here? You told me this is what you wanted to do. You are not behaving consistently with that. Like, what are we throwing in the towel? What are we doing? You want people like that in your life, even though they make it uncomfortable at times. You want people that tell you the truth, that say, hey, you've got a bunch of food on your face and you're going to embarrass yourself, or you're not on track to meet your goals, or frankly, your head's in the clouds, man. You're not going to be able to do that unless you make A, B, C changes. You need those types of people and you need those types of vendors.
Oh, bro. One of the stories, I think we've talked about it on here before, but same story, take the lens off proof in our relationship here, put the lens over on our friends at Natura, right? That's another great example of having one of your goals for 2026 needs to be having a team that's going to help you reach your goals, that's committed to reaching your goals through the shitstorm, because that's coming. It comes every year, right? And to celebrate with you at the victory lap, right? But I talked about this on Jonas's podcast, right? Cameron did like this really, we were going through it with Eric for a long time, like 8 months, could not figure out his cost per
with
qualified
Lizard,
lead.
Eric with Natura.
Cameron with Lizard, yep. Eric with Natura. I won't get into like the details of it, but Cameron did like a full audit of something like 430 phone calls, right? And came to Eric like, hey, these are some things that if we can fix it, we can get you much closer to your goal. Eric Bissett had a wild 2025. And why is that? He took the data from his 2024 and he made a solid, actionable plan for how he was going to fix what wasn't working in 2025. And what do you know? His cost per qualified lead was amazing. His inside sales team did amazing. And they're growing like a fucking weed. I know I can't say the word, but an effing weed over there at Natura. They had a great year. You know?
I mean, poster child, right? Because I remember that happening around Pest World 2024, right?
Denver.
So Denver, Colorado. It's toward the end of the year, right? Mid to late October. Only a couple months left in the year. and they just, for 2025, just completely right the ship because of feedback. So that tells you the type of people they are. They're the type of people that are like, hey, we want people to hold our feet to the fire. We want to know. Listen, there's some of you that are listening that you just want to think that everything is perfect and you don't want to make changes. I hope it's relatively few of you, but there are some of you, this message isn't for you. This message is for the people that care about the truth. Because if you don't get to the truth, you can't get better. And that's all we're talking about. We just want you to get better. We're in your corner. This is how you do it. You come face to face with the truth. Hey, where am I? And that being said, you also come face to face with the things that you're doing right. You celebrate those wins. Yeah. It's like, hey, we have this incredible team. We have all this infrastructure. We have 10 years of branding. We have all these things going for us. Let's just fix this one little thing, right? And what a great example of that.
Bro, it's true for your vendors too. We're one of your vendors. When you hit your goals, we are like exploding inside, right? Because we helped you do that. One of the things that I actually gave Bug Bux a shout out on Jonas's podcast, right? And that for your listeners that are listening, I'll do another one here. It is not common in this space to have people that want you to succeed. We were talking about the Dallas house, right? Getting ready for what's coming up this year.
Yeah, for the Real Pest World Dallas.
Yeah, Real Pest World Dallas and Bug Bux at Jonas's community, we are trying to create an environment where we're doing everything we can to help you be successful. And the Orlando house, Lizard only worked with one of the vendors in the entire house. Man, I'm throwing out as many pearls of wisdom as I can, and everybody's just soaking it up, right? Because the commitment that we're making to each other is, I want to know what you want to accomplish this year and how can I help you get there, right? So please, if you're listening to this, please take advantage of this stuff. It's not normal, but it's really good. Right? But the last actionable item I had for you, so we've got the create your budget, then create your goals for the next year, then benchmark your successes and your failures every single month, right? When you do that from your P&L, when you get to the end of January and say, okay, this was our goal for January, right? Did we hit? Did we miss? What didn't work? What worked, right? Sometimes there are factors, especially in the PCO world, that are outside of your control. Was it excessively rainy, right? Were gas prices exorbitant, right? Was it a 5-week pay period, right? Sometimes things are not inside your control that impact your goals, okay? But at the end of the month, what did we hit? What did we miss? And what are we going to do next month to get us closer to our goal? So create your budget, create your goals, and then benchmark every single month, right? When February starts, talk about January. When March starts, talk about February. Evaluate and pivot. If you're the business owner that is stuck, I'm talking to one business owner right now that has been stuck for a very long time. I won't even say how long. It's incredible. If you are the business owner that is stuck and you're not constantly pivoting to try to hit your goals, you should not be surprised that you can't hit them, right? If you're not taking feedback and evaluation and knowledge that people are giving to you that are trying to help you succeed and shifting your plan to accommodate your goal, then you're not going to make it. So, that's the third piece of the puzzle. Honestly,
it comes down to, what do you want more? Do you want to grow your company, or do you want to be right / think everything is fine? And you talking about the benchmarking, this is so important. We talked about setting goals to hit that 5-3 and then 2026, do the budgeting. We know how to work backward into that now, but talk about it with your team and don't wait until the end of June to find out where you are. Do it monthly. Have a regular cadence. If it's the sales team and it's a sales goal, you're probably talking about that weekly, to be honest with you. But make sure, and then the thing I love about Mike Rogers is that he aligned interests, right? You talked about the accounts receivable department.
Everywhere.
And it's like, hey, we aligned our interests. And so make sure that your team not only knows what's going on through this benchmarking process, through the reporting, those meetings, and you don't have to make it super complicated. Like, we have, within our departments, 3 numbers that we look at. We're not looking at every single thing. We're looking at 3 max numbers. But if you ask anyone in that department, they should be able to tell you off the top of your head, because I bet you with Mike Rogers and those ladies in the accounts receivable, they knew exactly where they were.
At any
given moment. So
yes.
So that's awesome.
And you know what? It was celebrated, and so when you met with everybody, the marketing people, they hit their goals. Guys, here's your bonus, right? Incentivize your people to reach these goals and let them collaborate with you to get there. You'll keep more. Don't stress about it. You give some bonus cash away. It doesn't have to be crazy, right? You give some bonus cash away for your departments hitting their respective goals, and everybody will pull the line in the same direction, and that's when you are going to rocket into your future. Okay, I hope that for you, and I hope that Lizard gets to be a part of it, because that means I get to be a part of your success story, right?
Heck yeah.
But if you can do that, set your budget, set your goals, benchmark your goals, and incentivize your team to hit their respective goals per department, man, just watch. It is the catalyst for change for your company, and I'm so hopeful that PCOs kind of grab onto that in the remaining time of 2025 and think about what they're going to do different in 2026.
Yeah, I love it. You know, the thing about Lizard is, the analogy is like, okay, I've got this boxer and he does, weight training, getting ready for this fight. And he has a guy that he only sees him when he's in the gym, lifting weights, specifically lifting weights. But then he's got a trainer that he's there when he's lifting weights. He's there when he's punching the bag. He's there when he's stretching out. He's there helping him with his diet. And then when the fight comes, he's literally in his corner. That's what Lizard is. That is Lizard. Lizard is there. We're helping people. We're talking to them about their call infrastructure. The thing that you mentioned, the proof needs to work on is our answer rate. It's like, that doesn't have a ton to do with the actual market. I know it affects LSAs and other things, but it's not something that Lizard controls. It doesn't matter, because Lizard's like that trainer that's like every step of the way, right? Just, hey, I want to know what's going on, because when the fight comes, when we're in the middle of June, July, August, are really hot, we're growing like crazy months, we want that vendor in our corner with us, not watching on TV.
No, bro, Nate Sorensen, Banner Pest Control, they don't even work with us anymore. And we still talk to them constantly, okay? We help their inside sales guy out. His success story is one of my favorite success stories. And it's an accolade for Lizard, right? To say that when he says, I went from 1.2 million to 4.5 million in 1 year, the Lizards helped you get there, boss. I'm gonna put it on a shirt. Do you know what I mean? And so your successes are important to us. And how did he get there? It was not by mistake. He had a plan. He activated his plan, and we talked about it every week, every month, right? And so that's how you guys get there. From the Bug Bux perspective, from the Real Pest World perspective, from Jonas, from you, Allan, you've made a brand for yourself and letting people know, I want to help you get to your goal, right? So we're not here to take something from you. We're here to give something to you. If you'll put these things in place for your 2026 year, I promise you're going to end so much closer to your goal than if you didn't take any of these steps at all.
Couldn't say it better myself, man. All right, Matt, taking enough of your time. I love it. Where do people find you? Where do they find Lizard? What's the best route?
Lizardmarketing.co. Come hit us up if you need some help. We're still doing forecasts for people that are getting ready for their 2026. That's actually what I got to get back to after we get off this call. So if you need some help and you need a plan, we've got your back. So hit us up.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks, homie.
Thank you so much for listening to the Bug Bux Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please show your support by subscribing and leaving us an honest 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you, and we'll catch you on the next episode.